Everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. So, in today's video, we will be doing some visualization. So, anyone, irrespective of your profile, if you are interested in visualization of data, you want to get a bit analysis, a bit kind of uh, information out of any data you have, you can refer to this video. Today we will be covering some amazing graphs. Okay. We will be covering two graphs. One is tooltip and the second one is reference lines. Tooltip is really amazing. It's my personal favorite. So let's start. Let's start. Okay. So it's basic Tableau right now. Okay. You have to just import. So I just imported a Excel sheet named Sample Superstore. Okay. These are the sheets that are present inside this particular worksheet that I have of Excel. Okay. All you have to do is just drag and drop this in your on the right side of the screen, and here you can see the entire view of that particular individual sheet. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get into my sheet one. Okay. And now here you can see on the left side you have all the table names, right? So there is most probably a table inside your sheet, and here you can find the category, city, everything that is present inside it. Okay. Now here is this small icon which says view data. Okay. Once you click on it, you can see the entire sheet of yours. Okay. So this is just for the reference of your sheet. If you want to get a reference of it, right? Adding to this, is another thing that you may have noticed. There are two sections of inside it. One is the blue section above, and the other is the green one. Okay. So in Tableau, we say the above ones we refer to them as dimensions, and the below one that are in green we refer to them as measures. Okay, measures as in like you can refer it by yourself. You can understand. These are kind of the measuring values, and these are the dimensions. Okay. So let me just rename this sheet, and we rename it as tool tip. Okay. So what is tooltip? Tooltip is this thing here, right? And I'll be showing you exactly what it is, and it is like awesome, awesome visualization that you will get out of it. Okay. The second one that we'll be looking at is the reference lines. So reference lines are like if you want to get, we will look into it. Okay, these are like basic, a great visualization of your entire data set. Like if you want to get an average out of it per plane, I will go into it later. Okay, so let's first get into the tooltip section. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is let's change my standard view to entire view. Okay. This country I'm gonna drop down to my section in the middle. Okay. And here you can see the entire country. So the country, what country is specifying, it is basically the individual country which where my data belongs to. Okay. In my city column, it has the cities inside it. Okay. So now next what I'm gonna do is let's so what we are going to do, okay? So we are going to get a profit, okay, based on the categories, okay? So how much profit my individual state is having, okay? So let's have a look at it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop this particular thing in my text column, and here I have the entire states, okay? These are my states. Now, another thing that I have to do is I have to see the profits in my individual states. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I click on profit and I drag it in my color section. So see what will happen. Isn't it great? So what it is? You can see on the right side of this section, there is a profit and a loss also. Okay. So there are states that are making loss and there are states that are making profit. So what it is basically the selling of the products, okay, for some country, let's say XYZ. And the profit, so California is making a great profit, that is 76,000 somewhere, right? And then if we look at Texas, our sales are not good here. I mean, we are getting a profit of minus 25,000. Okay, so we are in a loss there, right? So this is just a heat map right now. Okay. The interesting part is about to come. Okay. So what we going to do now is we have to see like individually on which category I am getting the loss. Okay. So if I go there, I can just get the overview of that profit, whether it's a profit or whether it's a loss. But I want to know like on which category I am getting that profit or on which particular category I am a loss. Okay. Category as in like in product category I mean to say. Okay. So let's do one thing. What we're gonna do is we will create another graph which will reference to our toolkit. Okay. So what I'm gonna name is let's name it a reference tooltip. Okay. So it's a reference to my tooltip. And here what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop my category. Okay. Here. Perfect. So these are my furniture, office supplies and technology. And let's to make it more interesting, let's add one more field that is subcategory. Okay. So now what it's gonna do is inside my category there are subcategories. So if we see in my furniture there are books, chair, furnishing and tables, right? Now there is another thing I have to do. I have to get the profit out of it, right? If you guys remember, I have to get the profit, right? So to get the profit, I will take the profit from here and drop it inside my column, right? Look at the graph. Isn't it great? I mean, you can just directly see it like, okay, in my technology section, in my copier part, which is a subcategory, I'm getting a profit of 55,680, right? But this is my entire profit, right? It is not distributing it on a straight level, right? On my straight, it is in my tooltip, right? And my reference tooltip is here. Okay, there is another thing that I can do, right? What I can do is I can get a heat map out of it, right? Because it is giving me like the same color convention, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna drop this some profit in my color section. And now you can see it's amazing, right? The red part or the orange part is my negative part, which is like giving me the loss. Okay, so the inside furniture tables are giving me a great loss, right? So amongst my entire category and subcategory, in my entire United States, the table category is giving me the maximum loss. And where I'm getting the maximum profit are copiers, which is in technology. Okay. So now let's do the interesting part. Okay. Before doing that, let's do one thing. We will see the name of this thing, like what's the profit in it, right? To do that, just drop this profit in your label section, right? And now you can just get the value of it from here, right? Now let's do the main part, right? So I hope you would love it. All you have to do is you have to click on the tool tip part, right? Go inside your insert section, inside your sheet. You just have to mention that tooltip, which is referencing to your particular tooltip. And that is reference tooltip, right? Once you click on it, all you have to do is OK, right? And just have a look at it, right? Now you can see individual states having a profit and a loss on category and subcategory, right? So if you see in your California, your blinders are giving you the maximum profit, right? And your tables are giving you a very less loss, right? A very less loss. But if we see our Texas, right? Texas is giving me the loss in each individual subcategory, right? So this particular state is like a disaster for me, for my particular company, right? If we look at some other states, let's say let's look at New York. Okay, in New York we are having a good sale, a good profit, but in this my table is really giving me a loss, which is not as bad, but it is giving me a loss, right? And the best particular category of mine in New York is my office supplies, which is binders, right? So look at it, like how easy it makes me to understand my data, right? Like how can I understand if I look at just this table, right? It's very hard for me to get this thing out from it, right? Even if I do some coding or something, it will take me time to do it, right? Here in minutes you can find out, like, get the individual specification out from your data, right? Now it's not over yet, right? Now we are going to do a very interesting thing. Okay, what we are going to do now is we are having a look at the reference lines. Okay, let's do one thing. Here we get the tooltip based on the states and category wise, right? Now let's do one thing. Okay, let's have a look at our data and see what else we can make, right? We will take the categories, okay, or let's take the subcategories, है ना, and see with respect to my region. Okay, so my region is like whether it is south, north, west, and east, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking my region, right? And another is subcategory. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm taking a region, and each region I will have multiple subcategories. And inside those categories, I'm going to check whether that particular region in that subcategory I'm getting a profit or a loss. Okay, so let's plot it out. You will get a better visualization of it, right? Just take the region from here and pick it in your row. Keep it in your row. Okay. Now another thing that I have to drag is my subcategory. So I'm going to take my subcategory and drag it inside. Right. Now let's change it to my entire view. Okay. Now let's do one thing. What we're gonna do is we have to get the profit and a loss. So to get it, I have to drag and drop this here. Okay. Now you can see I get the entire profit and loss. Okay. So my maximum loss is again in table in my eastern part. So in my United States, I am getting a big loss in table. When even if I compare in my West, right, I'm getting a profit in my table, right? So as an analyst, what I can suggest? I can suggest is that we should stop selling our tables in eastern part, right? Because we are getting a massive loss. We should improve our supply in our West region because we are getting a profit over there, right? Similarly, we can say that like we are getting an amazing what you can say profit in your copier in your western part, right? We should focus on that part also, right? Right. So this all we can visualize. Now let's do one thing. I'm gonna change the axis of the graph. Okay, so there is this particular option where you can swap the rows and column. So just have a look at it. What it will do now. Once you do it, it just swaps the row and column, right? Now you have a better understanding of it. Let's do one more thing. Okay, let's get it into the color, right? The color coding that we did in my previous graph. So all you have to do is just drag and drop in your color section, and now you will see that the eastern part is very much red, which specifies you are getting a big loss there, and here you are getting a nice profit. Okay. Now let's change a bit in the coloring section, right? If you want to color it, like let's say you want to change the color pattern. Okay, get into the color section, edit color, and let's change blue to green. Okay, and apply. So now we have a red and a green section. The darker the green, the more the profit. The darker the red, the more the loss. Okay. Now coming to the point, the reference lines. Okay. So reference lines are basically just to see what my average is, right? So what I'm going to do now is I get into my analytics section, right, on the left part, and now I'm taking this reference line and uh, keep it in my table. Now see, we have multiple options here, right? What I'm going to do is I am getting the sum profit, okay, and I'm doing the average of it. Okay, so what it is doing, it is getting the average of my entire data, right? And I click OK. So now you can see you are getting an average of 4,212. So from your entire sale in United States, from all your subcategories, you get an average profit of 4,212. Okay, which is lying on this section of your graph. Now let's change a bit. Let's change the color of this line, make it a little bolder. Okay, and change it to, let's say, change it to blue. Okay, as you can see, let's make it a little darker. Okay, uh, make it a bit darker. Okay, now it looks better, right? Now, let's say I want to know the average on my region wise, right? I don't want, like, I get the average of my entire set, right? Now, I want to see that on my specific regions, right? What profit I am getting. So, all you have to do is just drag this reference line again in your table section, right? And instead of selecting the entire table, you have to select per pane. Okay. And in your per pane, you have, let's change this color to, let's change it to purple. Okay. We will be changing it to purple. We'll be assigning it to a particular line, and let's make it a little darker. Let's make it brown. Okay. And okay, perfect. So now you can see your average on per division is changing, right? So the least average, if I see like the minimum profit I'm getting, right, is in my central part. Central region, I'm getting a profit of 2,336 on my average, right? On my eastern part, I'm getting an average of 5,384, right? Then on my southern part, I'm getting an average of 2,750. And on my western part, I'm getting an average of 6,378. Right? So, I mean, how easy it is for us to just analyze and go through it. Okay. Now, let's do one thing. Okay. Now, let's say I want to present it in front of some business person or some, let's say, let's say in media, just to showcase like how our company is doing and all, right? So the what all you have to do is there is this section of create a dashboard. Okay, just check this thing. You have to click on new dashboard. Okay, this dashboard will open. Okay, let's change the size to it. Okay, I will be changing it to automatic. Okay, now you have the complete sheet over here. These are my sheets that I just created. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, all you have to do is just pick it here and drop it here, right? Just pick this tooltip from here and drop it here. Perfect. You have to pick it from here and just according to this section that it is showing, just drop it there, right? Now just have a look at it, right? Just see. These are my reference lines. These are my tooltips. These are my reference tooltip. Let's change its alignment. We're going to keep it below. Okay. And this we are going to keep it on the right side of this. Okay. Now just have a look at it. Uh, Now let's do one thing, change their names. Okay. We're going to name it as um, state wise log slash profit. Okay. Click on apply. Okay. State. Okay. Remove this. Remove it. Apply. Okay. The reference to this. And here we are going to put my region wise log slash. Click on apply. Okay. Right. Now just see, have a look at it. Once I go on taxes, I can have a look here. Okay. I'm getting that much. On the right, just see the right panel, right? It's changing, right? So on taxes, if we see in my office supplies, Blender is giving me a big loss, right? If you can check it out. I mean, in Texas, I'm getting loss everywhere. There are very few categories we are getting a profit. So my main focus is to just look into it why I'm getting very much loss in my Texas area, right? I have to see in my New York. New York is giving me a great profit in my technology accessory section, right? So this is like just we can get a great view over it, right? In my accessory section, I'm getting a great profit of 11,096 rupees from my entire sale, right? Right? So in California, right? Now this is in your local right now. Okay. Let's deploy it on our server so that we can share the link. You know, if someone is interested, they can go through it. I mean, I can like on public, I can just use someone's laptop and I can get to that value, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into the file, click on save to Tableau public. Okay. Let's name it as profit loss. Okay, and click on save. Okay, now it takes a little time, and once it's done, you will see a great graph. Okay, this is my Google page, and here you can see it gets published on Tableau Public, right? So if you are in meeting or somewhere, you can just put it on the full screen part, right? And now you can give a great presentation out of it from the data, right? Just go there, you can visualize it, right? You can give a great presentation out of the data, right? And you can check it out. This, everything you can get from this section, right? So, this is all in this video. I hope you learn something amazing, right? You can use it in your daily life. If you have a data set, you can try it on that data set, right? So these are like the two graphs that we covered today. And hope so, like in coming videos, I'll be giving you more such kind of um, graphical visualization of data. Great.